You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Oprah Winfrey Network, the Oprah Recap Show. We'll bring you all the highlights from the week in OWN and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's Oprah Winfrey Network, the Oprah Recap Show.
What's happening, everybody? Global America, what is really going on with everyone? I just want to tell everybody it is such an amazing thing to be here. It's such an amazing thing to be back in the house. I feel like I got a feed running on me, but we're going to keep going.
Yeah, that's Winston.
Yep. Winston? Be Winston.
Yeah, you're there, man. How you guys doing?
We got a feed going on your part. I'm trying to introduce my show, brother, and we got a feed going in. I can't even hear. So we are back on the AfterBuzz television station, everybody, and this is on the Oprah Recap. Yes, where we're all about bringing and really living our best lives. So what we're going to do, we started a little bit late on this show, so it's going to be all about a special show where we're just going to talk to you for a few minutes as we introduce our next topic, which is going to be Accelerating Your Life Part 2. So all this show is going to be about is just basically me, you, and B. Winston on the phone. We're going to just basically be talking to you really quick on the 3 key universal laws that we have. So it's 3 universal laws that we're going to introduce today, and we're just going to briefly mention them in conversation, and then we'll go into more depth going into next week. As you know, we did the Y&R recap show where we had 2-time Emmy winner Michelle Stafford that was on the show. So the show extended a little bit longer into the Oprah show. However, she gave us our own experiences as well. So, you know, I do both in this time block. So we're going to go straight in without any further ado. And the words of the day is going to be think positive. So we're just going to keep that in mind. Think positive, because what you think is what you attract. And just remember that where your mind goes, the body follows. And we say that all the time, closing the show. But it really is that. It really is about getting a picture of what you want out of life. A visual picture, not just a thought process in your head. You need to visually see what it is that you want to accomplish. See yourself in what you want to accomplish. If you're trying to get into shape, make sure you put a picture up of somebody's body that looks the way you want to look. If you're trying to get to another level, bring that kind of thought process around so you can visually get that feel of it, see it mentally. That way, the law of attraction subconsciously will bring it into your orbit. So those are your words of the day to make sure that you think positive, because where the mind goes, the body will follow. So on the phone lines, we definitely have my boy B. Winston in the house, which he always does. We got Serene. She's not here this week. She is out getting some more knowledge that we're going to be talking about when we come back in next week. But B. Winston, what's going on, bro?
Man, same old thing, making it happen, Captain. How are you? I'm
pretty good, man. Just elated because I just got finished doing an interview with one of my favorite all-time soap opera stars in the world that I've had so far. So that was definitely a high of mine. And again, this is gonna bring us straight into the law of attraction, the law of creation, because you know it really is just that. The law of attraction brings certain things in. So we're gonna go into that topic first, which is the law of attraction, bringing things in. We think of something, and how is it that it happens? How do we go after it? You know, everything that happens in our life is about the law of attraction. So what you about to say, B? You was about to say something.
Well, I mean, you can just think. I mean, you know, if you're trying to get a new job, trying to get a raise, some of that nature in your life, and you have to take your mind out of where you're at, just like in your situation for that matter. We were just talking about with just last week, hosting someone of that nature, of that caliber.
Right.
It didn't happen. You know what I mean?
That's
you got to
right.
put it out there. You got to believe in yourself first. You got to believe in your own thoughts, your own thought process.
Yeah. You know, you're absolutely right. And I've learned, too, that a lot of times when it comes to the law of attraction, it's not what you always think about consciously. And that's what we got to
right.
be. We got to be
It's the
careful.
subconscious thought that can be the most powerful.
Oh my
right?
God, the subconscious thoughts are some of the things that come the fastest before even the conscious thoughts coming, because so many times we're so busy working on the conscious things, and yeah, we're working at it, but it really is about that belief in knowing that you can definitely have what you are asking for and receiving what you're asking for, because that subconscious thing it's really amazing. Somewhere in my subconscious, I believe that this was possible. I mean, in the YNR show and even on the OWN show, and just a shout out and thank you to everybody, it's definitely hitting on the top 10 downloads on iTunes, and people are really tuning in to Love 92.3 for the recaps, and they're learning and they're growing from it, and we're getting some amazing feedback and response from the show and the lessons that we're actually teaching. So Brandon, let me ask you this question: when in a time in your mind too that you had to grab hold of the law of attraction and really put its principles to use, in your opinion, man?
In my world, I would always have to say matriculating through college, honestly.
Wow, yeah.
I never wanted to be around people that didn't want to study, that didn't want to be the best, that didn't want to be the best athletes, didn't want to be the best students, that didn't even want to be the best partiers. I wanted to be around the best of the best at everything I did and every experience I had. And so I always, in my subconscious, my conscious mind, always wanted to be around the people who felt and were doing the best. I mean, because those people stand out at any level, you know what I mean? So my law of attraction was truly to be around the top caliber of these people, and even in my life, you know what I mean? I look at you, and we're close friends even off this show, you know what I mean? So, you know, there you have it. Look at where we are now from the law of attraction 2 years ago. We just an idea.
I know.
You know, I know we keep saying it, but it's so true.
I know. It is an amazing thing, because, like, you know, even though we're in this section, we're just pretty much just doing a little introduction to everything. Now, I like to tell people we have to, once you attract something, they say that humans are one of the biggest magnetic forces. Basically, we have the ability to be able to attract any and everything that it is that we want, good or bad. I mean, we are always attracting opportunity, situations, and we're always getting results. It just depends on the kind of results that you're getting. So depending on the kind of results that you're getting, you have to ask yourself, is this exactly what I'm looking for? Because nothing just happens, and that's what people got to realize. 0 from 0 is 0.
Right.
Nothing just happens by coincidence. Everything that has taken place has come from a cause and an effect of something which has been attracted from thought, mental, whatever it is, visual. It just, everything is attracted from something. But the part that I appreciate is that once it's attracted to you, what are you going to do with it? And that's where number 2 comes in at, which is a law of creation. Again, next week we're going to go in more in detail, but it's a law of creation. That's like taking lemons and turning it into lemonade. What are you going to do with it once you attract the opportunity? What are you going to do with the law of creation? So, B, that's what I throw back out to you. The law of creation, how does that work in your realm, and how is it effective from the law of attraction to the law of creation?
Well, like the kids that I work with in mentor, I always tell them, listen, it's one thing to be able to say or put it out there that, hey, I want good grades. Hey, I want to be able to earn some extra money. Hey, I want to lose some weight. If you're not doing work, you have to get out there and do it. You have to get out there and study. You have to study. You know, you want to be a better Christian. You want to be better in the Word. You have to read. You have to get in. You have to put yourself in the midst of it. You know, roll your sleeves up. And that's just really what that boils down to. You know, from 306 degrees of fitness all the way back around to I want to be a better student, a better parent.
Right.
You got to get into it. You got to do it.
Right, definitely. I guess my mind is just so excited right now, just because you're right. It's all about, you know, what you create something into. You have to choose once you figured out how to turn that into something, because, you know, a lot of people sit around and they wait for something to fall in their laps. And even though you may attract it, but what are you going to do once it's there? You know, what are you going to do?
You got to be moving, man.
You got to be moving. You got to be putting things into place, and you got to be, you know, making things happen. So, you know, that takes us straight into, you know, when you're creating something, you're actually sowing and reaping. And that's our third law. You know, and when we say universal laws, everybody, we're meaning that these laws work whether you want to get involved with them or not, like the law of gravity. If you jump off of a building, you're going to play in the law of gravity. You're going to either
doing it
you're going to
without
fall.
your participation.
Right. And the only way that you're going to do something different was if you create into the law of lift, but that's going to be certain things that are going to be in place. But the law of gravity had to be there in order to create the law of lift. So these are natural laws that are going to be in place whether you want them there or they're not. So when you understand certain laws, then these certain laws and these certain tools will help you to accelerate your life. So remember, this is going to be Accelerate Your Life Part 2A, because we're going to finish this up going into next week on definitely on a different show. So the next one we're going to go into, which is 3 on Accelerate Your Life Part 2A, is going to be sowing and reaping. So basically giving and receiving, you know, the law of giving and receiving, sowing and reaping. You sow an act, you reap and harvest. B, how important is sowing and reaping in the law of attraction and in the law of creating, sowing and reaping, like when you sow something? How has that been in your experience, giving and receiving?
Oh, man. That's been the biggest tool. That's been the biggest blessing and pat on the back is putting up your own efforts to gain the respect and efforts of someone else ahead of you. Some people call it mentoring. Some people call it internship, whatever you want to call it,
right,
for the scenario, blah, blah, blah. What it is being able to do something to gain not so much monetary, but knowledge, information, experience. Why not work on somebody else's dime so when you get your quarter together, you can break it down and then get more dimes?
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's in the essence of you gotta intern. You gotta go before it and learn from someone that's already there, because what you're truly learning is the essence of their mistakes,
right,
and the blessings of what they do correctly.
That's right. That's right. And so, you know, in mentioning that, you're right. So many people don't realize that that is a form of sowing. Whenever you're interning or you're working for someone else and you're learning, you're sowing your time in to gain that knowledge and that wisdom that that individual has. So when you're sowing into that, you are receiving again, and you have to be open to receive what you're going in there after. And that's the same thing when it comes down to, you know, giving in any realm. I mean, every business book that I've read and every big business or every thing that I've really read on self-help, they all talk about being a giver, and not just as being a giver, but also being able to receive, because you have a lot of people out here that all they do is they give everything they have, but when it's time to give them something, oh no, I can't take that. Oh God, I can't.
They turn it away.
They can't
turn it away. That's disrespectful.
That's your blessing. That's your harvest coming back in full force, and could come from different directions than you may think it would come from. But you have so many people and it's holding up somebody else's blessing, because people are blessed when they give to you. You have to be able to also be a good receiver. Now, don't be no gold digger and all these other things and try to take advantage of people. But if you know that you are the type of individual that is a sower and that you are a giver, you should be able to have your mind fixed on knowing that the universe, the abundance of the universe, will provide for you. I give an example. You know, myself, I am the type that I'm one of my biggest expenses is sewing. I'm one of the type, and I had a good friend that say, you know, it looks like I'm on the computer going through a whole bunch of different websites, but I'm actually giving to different ministries and to different organizations, etc. I partner at least 15 ministries that I believe in sewing. However, you know, just through my faith and my belief in the sowing and understanding that law, you know, biblically it says it will pour out the windows of heaven. You know, the windows of heaven will open up to pour out a blessing. That is the one thing in the Bible, you know, biblically for all of my believers, that he promises that if you test him in that area of giving, that he will pour out more opportunities to you than you can ever think of. So you may give over here to this one spot, but over here, opportunity comes from all over the place, because that's just how the universal law actually takes place. It kind of initiates and it ignites the universe to have to give you more than even what you've sown. It's an amazing thing when you finally step into that whole principle of giving and then knowing how to receive. So really quick, everybody, we are still here at the AFTERBUZZ Studios, and this is OWN, the Oprah Recap, where it's all about exploring our best lives. And again, I know we came in a little bit in the mix of things, so we're going to be wrapping this up really shortly. We're going to go into really fast what I know for sure topic, because we're going to wrap this little thing up of what we know for sure about, you know, through these 3 universal laws that we're going to apply. And then next week at 4:15 sharp, we're going to be back here really just hitting in on some of those other things that's going to help you to accelerate your life in 2012 and beyond, for the next level. Okay, so really quick, Brandon, B, we're gonna go into the one thing that I know for sure segment. And so I want to know from you, brother, what is the one thing that you know for sure before we go ahead and get up out of here about accelerating your life and utilizing the law of attraction, the law of creation, and sowing and reaping in it to accelerate your life?
Well, the one thing that I know for sure is that if I can picture it in my mind and I can use my tongue to verbalize it, I can use my hands, my feet, and my mind to work towards it. And anyone that is going to help me along on my journey, I'm gonna sow a seed of some sort to that person. If it's not just hard work, good morals and ethics, it's just not stealing from somebody.
Right.
Not taking something that don't belong to you. Like all that is in the mind, because all that strengthens the mind when things turn and the tide gets rough. All that strengthens the mind.
You're right.
All of that strengthens the mind. So that's one thing that I know.
Okay. All right. And the one thing.
What about you, man?
Well, the one thing that I would say that I know was that, like you said on the last show that about prayer, was that we believe the law of attraction, it works. It works whether you want to work with it or if you don't want to work with it. It works. And when you step into it, it's all about the knowledge. And the thing that I can tell you for sure is gain the knowledge on these universal principles, everybody. Gain this knowledge because the world is a series of decisions. That's what the world is about. It's a series of decisions. And wisdom is, and knowledge and understanding, and the whole knowledge and understanding part is about, well, let's switch that around. You gain knowledge and understanding to make the right decisions, but wisdom is going to be that part where you place it in the right place for the appropriate time. That's where the wisdom is going to come in at. So what I know for sure is you want to gain knowledge and understanding, but you also want to have the wisdom to know how to appropriately apply these laws, because once you appropriately apply them, you have no other choice but to get results from it. You have no other choice but to get results from it. Again, you have no other choice but to get results from it. So your best bet, everyone, is to definitely be working within, the positive laws of attraction, the law of creation, creating something, sowing and reaping, making sure that you're planning out good things. Remember, if it makes you feel good, this is what your emotions for. If you're doing certain acts or attracting certain things that make you feel good in your core and you're helping people, then you know that that's probably a good thing. If you're attracting certain things in your orbit that are negative and they're not making you feel so good, then it's probably not necessarily the best thing for you. So that's a couple of key things that I also know for sure when it comes down to the law of attraction, the law of creation, and also sowing and reaping. But we would definitely be able to expand more into this next week, everybody. So again, I'm your boy, and we're going to take us out of here because, this was just a quick recap, little quick excerpt to be able to let you know what we're going to be talking about for next week. Again, everybody, I'm your host, Brookshire. B. Winston, we appreciate you for coming on the show to give us this quick excerpt.
Until next week, guys. You guys take care.
DJ Dr. Phil, we thank you. We know we ain't said it to you at the beginning, but we're just trying to get in and we're getting out. So we appreciate you being in the house, making sure we're looking good. And everybody, remember, where the mind goes, like I always say to you, the body follows. Make sure you stay positive. Keep your mind right, your body tight, and everything usually stays right. Walk with faith, people, and remember, you are someone, so act like it. Until next time, I'm your host, Brookshire. This is OWN, the Oprah Recaps. Peace.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.